Welcome back, y'all, to That's What I'm Saying, the podcast about hip hop, entertainment, dating, sex, relationships, and social issues from a sometimes ratchet, because you know how we do, but mostly woke perspective. So listen and subscribe to That's What I'm Saying. We're on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. Might not be on Spreaker no more because I think they want somebody. But we're on Pandora. Also, watch That's What I'm Saying, the TV show. We're coming back with new episodes. So I'm Sean.
And I'm Shatara.
Hey, sister, so good to actually see you.
Hey, yeah, this is different. Hey, listen.
It's been a while.
You know why? I just finished eating some leftover Chipotle. So my breath smells like corn chips, but you don't know that.
Hey,
isn't this nice?
Because I'm over here in my house. I told you what I was smelling. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we're here. We're doing this live, or what are we calling this? This is what do we call this episode?
We're calling this episode Canceled and Lovin' It.
Okay. We might change it, but I like it. It's a Dave Chapelle homage to Dave Chapelle.
Listen here. So let's just get right to the ratchet, shall we?
Yep.
Now, the transgender employees at Netflix, they are reportedly going to have a walkout on October 20th in protest of Dave Chappelle's recent special, The Closer, which we have all seen.
Runway.
If you are a Black folk and you haven't seen The Closer, then you listen. You're canceled. You're canceled. You're canceled. Then you are canceled.
What are you doing? Why did you not?
If I talk to one Black person, they say like, nah. That's when you look at them like what? Certain things we do, it's like paying a tax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in this case, we're all in support of Dave Chappelle, The Closer. It was off the chain. That is my comedian comrade. I got so much love and respect for Dave Chappelle. The Closer was off the hook. Did you see it?
I absolutely did on probably like the first night it was out.
Okay.
So I will say this because remember I went to see Dave Chappelle a couple of weeks ago in concert.
Mm-hmm.
And he was good. It wasn't the, we're Dave Chappelle from the Dave Chappelle show. And right. I was telling somebody like, you're not going to get that Dave no more. Like you're not going to get the Clayton Bixby probably anymore. He's evolved. It's another level of, to me, like social commentary comedy, which, I feel, and I'm sure you can attest to, like the comedians, y'all are like the new, the journalists and the new reporters and, talking about what's really going on in the hood. So
right.
For me, that was Dave evolving and being really who he is, which is, he has a way, and that is such a gift because he has a way of making some real crazy shit sound really funny. Like
yeah.
It's kind of crazy, but the way his the comedic presence that he brings to it is like I don't know how he did it. Bring the old griot way of telling a story. You tell it in parables, and you go back to the beginning, and to get to the conclusion. Like, I mean, I loved it. Now, did he? A lot of his, and I feel like people miss the message of what he was speaking about in terms of the transgender community and how he was referencing a friend of his who he had put on.
Yes.
To take the stage and perform. And, the joke was that, she was so bad, but
she did good in her in being
and the tragedy of the loss of that life because, she ended up committing suicide because it just seemed like the backlash and, Twitter is not a real place. That's what Dave was saying. Like Twitter ain't real.
Right.
But a lot of us get caught up in that. So I loved it. It's something that I would watch again because I just feel like Dave is one of our national treasures. He's a treasure. Like within our community, we need to protect him at all costs. Right. Honestly,
he was saying a lot. He was saying a lot, and his comedy had substance and it had purpose. And the fact that laughter was, involved was like the bonus because, like he said, like, y'all don't listen. Like, if you would have heard what I said, like, I don't hate y'all. And I appreciate that he brought out the fact that, like, when it comes to, the Black Lives Matter movement and so on and so forth, he's like, as a Black man, he called himself Clifford. I like the analogy on Clifford. He was like, we're just jealous of y'all because we look at y'all and say, wow, that movement is going so well. That's all he had to say. That's really all he had to say. Like, y'all movement is going so well. Like, look at that, and he brought up some good facts. Shit, like he brought up the baby. Did you know he said the baby's a wild guy? He's a wild guy. And can I be honest with you? I didn't know that about the baby.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
And
like
where
there's
was the uproar in that?
yeah, no, listen, like he said before, there's no, like I use the N word like over, and there's no impunity for that. But when, same thing he was saying about himself, but the minute I, hurt the feelings of someone who's, of that LGBTQ community, oh, it's a problem. But yet I can use the N word.
Yeah,
And,
because
you
they
can't
said
do
they
that.
did a count on Dave Chappelle's show. He used the N word like 5,000 times
Oh
plus.
my God.
And remember, that $50 million was on the table for him so that he could continue using
Mm-hmm.
the N word with, we laughed and we joke. And, personally, I don't have a problem with it in that sense, but it's real funny
Right.
how, nobody was in an uproar about that. But
Right.
like
Right.
you said, the minute, we talking about Alphabet Street, then
Uh-huh.
then it becomes an issue.
And your movement is going so well because the backlash that everybody's getting for making comments or hurting your feelings, everybody suddenly has these consequences that are like right on you right away, and it's like, oh shit,
Mm-hmm.
like what just happened, so it's a different day, it's a different era. But I
Yep.
appreciate him because he even brought up like the YouTube movement, and I like that. And he was just like saying how if y'all would really, get organized, what you should have done instead of wearing like black matching dresses to the Emmys, what you should have done was fire your manager, put her in charge, but you didn't do that. He's like, I thought of it. He was like, and
Yeah,
then
the woman that works in the post up, like
yeah,
in the basement in the mailroom,
put
put
her
her in
in
charge.
charge. You know what I'm saying? And then, then you won't be eaten up by the Harvey Weinsteins. And then he was like, the man who's gonna organize that would be me. But I'm gonna need you to suck my dick. he's like, so then we're back at square one.
Movement, no movement.
He's such a rascal, but it was all very clever. His
Yeah.
callbacks, the way he brought everything to full circle. Like you had to be a listener. You can't just be in and out. You got to be a listener. He brought everything full circle. So he's a comedic genius in how he does it, and he's using his podium, and I love it. So keep it going. But now they will say this: Netflix is standing behind him on this, and the CEO Ted Sarandos, I think I'm saying his name right. He let all the employees know, like regarding this whole thing, like we are standing behind Dave Chappelle, and I think the trans workers, plotting this whole walkout. He let it be known like they're suspended, and I know who you are. I know who you are, calling them all out. So it's just kind of like, all right, y'all, like you're putting your focus in so many different places, but stop it. Just stop. I don't know.
Like, just I'm gonna go out on a limb here, but I'm like, but what do y'all want? What is it like? What do y'all what? And I'm asking you, like, but what is it?
Well, he brought up a good point. He said, y'all want to be respected as gay transgender until you remember you need to be white again. Something to that effect. And it
Yeah.
was just like, like always still using that privilege though. So,
Mm-hmm.
putting that on the forefront too. So it kind of makes me feel like nobody likes an intelligent black man that, tells the truth and puts it in such an eloquent way called comedy. Nobody likes that. Because in reality, if you really want to tell the truth, he's not just talking to us black people. He made it, where he's talking to everybody. He said, I hope there comes a day that we can all laugh together. That y'all ain't laughing at me. We can all laugh together, Like y'all took shit away from Kevin Hart. He was like, Kevin was Clifford, like the Clifford the dog. You know what I'm saying? It hurt his feelings. He's a strong guy. He got back up, and I was like, damn, Clifford the big nigga. I was like, oh man. White folks better not laugh at that. Right?
I
So
just I loved it. I
he's
loved it.
holding himself accountable. He's holding himself
Yeah.
accountable. So we love it. We're not mad at it. LGBTQ people, we ain't mad at y'all. However, hey, you got a voice, we got a voice. Like, come on. And if you put that same energy in black men being killed, I promise you, use that. Woo! We'll get somewhere, but you're not. So, please don't compare the two. Please, let's not do that. Let's not compare the two. Now, I don't know if you saw that Meek Mill has a new album cover, and he's receiving criticism and backlash. And his album cover was on, the side of a bus, and he had to like confront
A
all of
couple
this.
of buses. I know there was one here in Miami with the artwork And again, I mean, the operative word, it's artwork, y'all. But okay, I
Okay.
saw it. I
Well,
saw it.
okay, so
Mhm.
I had to go look at it because I'm like, what is like the big hoorah? And the album is called Expensive Pain, and when's the album drop? The first. And I'm trying to think of what was the name of the artist because she's said I
Nina
respect women.
Chanel. Is that her name? Yes, Nina Chanel.
Nina Chanel is the artist. Um,
Mhm.
I've seen the artwork, and she just has a very I don't know, is it vulgar? It's very outgoing. It's very colorful. It's creative. I mean, she has women bending over. What else we
Mhm, I
got
see the
going
little
on
pink,
here?
the little pink
A chessboard.
circle.
You have a little, a whole. And I'm just like, you know what? If you watch videos today, point blank, period, then how
Mhm.
can you look at this and be mad? Like to me, that this was like, okay, this,
I'm still, I'm like, y'all people pick your battles. I mean, personally, is this a piece of art that I'm gonna put up in my living room? Probably not. I look at it, I realize the aesthetic because it's got some, dollar signs. There's a dirt bike, and maybe the black woman dancing on a pole, and
mhm,
and it's very abstract.
chessboard.
It's like what is
There
it,
you go.
Pablo Picasso sort of.
Very
That's what it
abstract.
reminds me of,
Mhm.
or back in the day when we used to take the construction paper and cut
Make
shapes
like
out.
mosaic. Yep.
That's what it looks like to me. So I'm not taking away from the vision. Obviously, Nina Chanel, she's an artist, and
Layers.
there was expression. I kind of get what it was expressed. But I hear people just jumping out the window over this. I mean, pick your battles. I don't feel like this is a battleground. You don't like it, close your eyes and walk away.
Wait, so wait, Meek okay, so he responded to this white man who complained, and
Oh
what Meek
gosh,
said
you
was,
saw the video, the video of the white man
I didn't see the
trying to
man
take up the torch
complaining.
for the black woman.
He's
Like, we
going
don't
off.
need you. But okay.
Oh, okay. What did he say when George Floyd got killed? I know he was outraged about a bus and painting that was on, but what did he say when he saw a white man choke out a black man for 9 minutes? Did he make the same type of video, or did he just want to zero in on that? And it
Hmm.
was like, yeah, good point. So like you said, like you got to choose your battles. Like, come on now. But you know who's probably laughing at this? Like on a lighter note, Two Live Crew. Remember that album cover that
Oh,
came out?
yep.
Do
They're the
you
reason
remember
for the
the
sticker,
hell
for
they
the
got for
parental
that?
guidance stickers.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Parental, and then
Me so
so they
horny. Remember that?
they
Yeah, it
were
was me so
oh, me
horny.
love you long time. That was, oh, you can put that on right now. We'll all start jamming. Like we could be in the bank and that come on. We'd be
Me
like,
so horny. Oh, me so
me.
horny.
That was a good song. And then
It
he
was.
did Little Kim's album cover.
Mm-hmm.
What album was that for? Where she was spread with the little fur
Spread
on.
Eagle. What was
Um,
that? Big Mama thing?
Hardcore.
Big Mama thing?
Was it
Hardcore.
hardcore? I think it was
Something like
hardcore.
that.
Anyway, that album was bomb. But people had a fit about that, and every dude I knew had like the album, like the poster up in their room. So this right here is like, come on, man, like, oh, cut it out, like, stop it, like, don't y'all have like Greek paintings of like naked women? You
I
get what I'm saying?
mean, just yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like this, it looks like Picasso. Picasso was known to
Nobody
take a
says shit
woman's
about
breast and tear
yeah.
it up, and all in the name of art. So,
Oh boy, but I would like to hear this album, Meek Mills. I do want to hear it.
yeah,
I want to see what you're talking about.
I'm always up for listening. Yeah, because it came out October 1st, so beginning of the month. It's already out. Meek is kind of like I like Meek Mills, I really do, but sometimes his voice is annoying to me. That's
Sometimes it
all.
could be a little bit too much.
Yeah, like there are some artists where I be like, Papoose is another one where I'm sometimes when I listen, I'm like, okay, but I'll give it a listen.
You'll give it a listen.
Then I'll be riding through my old hood, but I'm on that new shit. Okay,
Well,
that
I don't
hit.
know what's happening, but I would like to hear it. We'll see what he's talking about. Anyway, guess what?
Mhm.
In baby news, so right when I'm like ready to get on this Zoom with you, I just found out that my sister Scorpio Eve is pregnant, and she just
I saw the
she,
picture with her. She got a
yeah,
gumball baby. She about to have a
she revealed
gumball.
she revealed her baby bump,
Hmm.
and she's having her
I
baby
love it. I
with
love this
her
for
husband
her.
Maximilian Cooper, and they just announced it recently on IG, and I just thought
Hmm.
that was so cute. And then she talks about being a stepmother and how she had this already family. She was a little bit against it at first, and now she feels so lucky. And I'm looking at this picture with Eve with a whole bunch of white people, and I was like, wow, Eve, you've
I
come a
think
long
that
way
is
from
the
the
funniest thing to me, but
pit bull in the skirt. She's, and
ooh,
then she says something about hoping that the kids don't go like too far back to like listen to her music because they're excited to have like a rapper in the family. And she was like, oh boy, I was vulgar and cursing, but I'm sure there's worse out today. And I'm like, no, Eve, you're the one who's saying, where my with the bigness? Where my with the hot whips? Where my and living
she
better,
sure
living
did.
Namaretta, smoking. That was a jam. I have a lot of jams that Eve. I mean, when she was with Rough Riders, I like that album. We
Mhm.
had that one. I got a man that I think that was
She
cute.
is such a great. It's an inspiring story because
I
Eve
love
used to
Eve.
strip
So I was
in
happy
the
for her.
clubs in Philly
Yeah,
back
she's
in the
look where she
day.
started, and then
Mhm.
you know what I watch? I watched the Eve show on one of these like channels. Remember she had a show?
She had a show. Yep, she has a show now. I haven't seen it, but it's her,
Yes,
Brandy. I think.
Brandy.
What's her name from Power?
Yes, Tasha from Power, but yeah,
Tasha from. Oh,
yeah, all of them. Yep,
yeah,
yeah.
and one other one. So I haven't. I kind of want. I do want to see it. I haven't watched it, but
Her career has been like long and great. People are not really.
yeah.
Sometimes I feel like, excuse me, she doesn't get the props. So she's having a baby, and then while I was on a roll, I see Jennifer Lawrence is having a baby too. I like Jennifer
Oh,
Lawrence. She's a great actor.
Hunger Games. Jennifer Lawrence.
Yes, and what was that movie where she was like the gambler's wife or something? Like you were telling me about
Oh,
it, and I watched it, and she was good.
huh, I can't remember the name of
Damn
it,
it,
but that was
I
good.
like her. I
I
like her.
don't
So
know.
she,
Can't
yeah,
remember the name.
yeah. But I'm happy for her too. So she's having a baby. Eve's having a baby, and there's one more person. It's okay. Sometimes I get this accent.
What?
I can't talk. Wait, one more person. I have it here. What is her name? Jennifer Lawrence. Not Jennifer Lawrence. I can't find it. Somebody here.
Mm,
Oh, Elaine Welteroth.
who's that?
She's the one. She's a journalist and she's from Project Runway. She's having a baby too.
Oh, I don't know her.
Yeah.
I don't know
She
her
she
name.
reminds me, she looks a little bit like my other Scorpio sister, Tracy Ellis Ross.
She black?
Yeah, Elaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, she's cute. Like big, natural hair, they kind of have like the
Oh,
same
okay.
nose.
All
Yeah,
right.
so it was like all this baby news. I was like,
All
what?
this baby news
Everybody
in your
got
birthday
knocked up.
month. Oh my god, how we gonna celebrate? Oh my
Everybody got
lord.
knocked up in the pandemic. Everybody got everybody
Mhm.
got knocked up
I love it.
in
I'm so
the
happy for Eve. Oh, that's so
pandemic.
nice.
I like it. Yeah, so I'm happy for her because they've been together for, is it 10 years, something like that?
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, she's dope.
The gumball guy.
Yeah, yay, Eve.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
you want to get woke?
all right.
Do we gotta?
Let me sit up.
All right. So I don't have my glasses to put on, but I can get serious
I
if
have
you
contacts on
must.
today.
All right. Ooh, special.
Mhm.
So now
Okay.
this hit me in a whole nother way because I'm like, are we still going through this? The predominantly black Michigan city, Benton Harbor, they'll finally get a new lead-free pipe after 3 years of contamination. So as we all know, like Flint, Michigan has been going through this whole like water, like they haven't had clean water, put it like this, in years. And the fact that they are a predominantly black area, and it spread to, and they're supposed to
Mhm.
be fixing it, and this money's going here and there. So I try to like really read into this, and to be honest with you, I don't really have a clear understanding of what's happening. So they finally got, like this $3 million to fix this pipe, and it's gonna, take time, but they're still advising people like to not, drink the
Drink the
water.
water.
Don't cook with it, don't drink it. But they're like, what's up? Are we getting clean water or not? Like what's happening here? So that was pretty much just something that, like I said, we have the pandemic going on. So imagine you have the pandemic, and then on top of it, you live somewhere where you have been, I would say, neglected, and you still don't
Poisoned.
have clean water.
Poisoned by your water supply
Yes. Yes.
for over 2 years. This or at least when they found out has been 2 years ago. This
Right.
is just see, and and then you got people picketing outside of Netflix because of a comedian's comedy show. But where's the picket signs for this when people right here in the United States of America, this is not a third world country, right here in the
Mhm.
United States of America,
Mhm. Right.
don't have clean drinking water.
Right. I don't get it.
But go off, y'all, because
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
something
y'all
to be
do.
mad at right there. Like, and I don't live there, and I just think of my comedian comrade Hadia, and I know, I mean, for years I never really understood the magnitude of when she would tell people in the beginning of her set, I'm from Flint, Michigan, and like, oh, y'all don't know, and I just felt
Hmm.
like now I'm looking at it like, oh my God, like that's one thing that hasn't changed, since I can remember, and that's a
Hmm.
long time.
Very very sad. But you know what? I'm glad that there has been something that is being
Yeah,
done. And they said
it's enough.
it's going to take a while for them to even put in the pipes and repair it. So, these people have been important, getting bottled water. And I mean, how do you cook? Like, how it just I remember back in the day, our grandmother used to like boil water, like so we could drink it. You boil the water. I guess New York water at the time wasn't all that, but like imagine like that's a real thing. You have to do
No,
that.
see, I feel like I remember New York water was good.
After a while, see, this is what I'm gonna tell people. I always say this. I was like, Giuliani Giuliani is a lot of he kind of went off the rockets towards the end. But one thing he did, he cleaned up. That was You're right, because the water improved, the streets, the sanitation improved under him. Just gonna
Okay.
say it. Not that I'm bigging up Giuliani, but yeah, like he cleaned up the water. That the water was like you could drink it right off the faucet.
I
Right,
remember that. I do
right.
remember. It was like,
All the
yeah.
porn shops and everything. He cleaned everything up. He did. I'll give him that. Remember they put the you couldn't jaywalk, so they cleaned the streets. The rats was a big problem.
Mm.
He cleaned the
Yeah.
subways. He
So,
did.
Julian needs to go use his work since he's going to be off for a little while with that sexual harassment thing. He needs to go down to Flint, Michigan, and help out a little bit. Like I have a little
Yeah,
time on my
wouldn't
hands,
it be
so
nice with his
yeah, maybe he needs to go down
philanthropic
there and push
ass?
some things and get it done.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
have a little time.
all right.
Anyway,
So moving on. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this. It's the buzzword now is gain of function and what that means. So you and I've had a lot of conversations about the coronavirus and the vaccine and different things. But I wanted to touch on gain of function because that has been, it's been a buzzword at a lot of congressional hearings. You've heard different key people in the government speak about it, but no one really understands like what it is. So let me tell you, I've been doing this extensive research just for myself in terms of researching, the pandemic, things that are going on, and looking for sources of information that is not compromised. I'm saying that lightly because it's really hard to find some like really straightforward info. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of talk about it a little bit, bring it to our audience, what it meant, what's going on, give you my theories on it. If y'all all right, y'all all right. Okay,
go on.
so what is gain of function? Gain of function is where you have scientists who study ways to increase the contagion in a virus or in a disease. So they take a disease that has the ability or is not infectious to humans and they make it super infectious to humans. And they do this for the reason that they're saying is that they're studying or estimating, future threats. So that is the reason for gain of function. So yes, it's a real thing. So gain of function to me in my research, I'm listening to this because there's a great debate going on within in the higher ups with is this something that we should be doing? We spend billions of dollars of our tax money on this type of study. And for me, what I'm understanding when you hear the word gain of function, I mean it sounds really non-threatening, it sounds very friendly, but it's actually it's bioweapon research. That's what's really going on because scientists are taking pathogens. A pathogen is any kind of virus that causes you a disease or makes you sick, and they're manipulating it to make it like this super infectious disease. And the reason why they're doing it is there's a lot of military testing that is going on within our government, and it's of course paid for by our tax dollars. So I did find if you remember, like a couple of years ago, actually, like maybe like 9 or 10 years ago, remember the H1N1, um, the H1N1 flu, which originally they call it the bird flu because originally it wasn't airborne, but there were some studies and there were some different manipulations done by scientists to make it airborne, so it transferred from animal to animal. And originally it wasn't that way. So this was a huge kind of uproar within the science community, and my understanding is that was the reason for this moratorium on gain of function research. In other words, our government just like supposedly shut down any sort of gain of function research, because it was really probably kind of getting too close to, okay, what are y'all doing in this lab? What are y'all experimenting with? What's going on? So supposedly there was this moratorium, but as I'm doing my research, I'm understanding that we just really just outsourced the study, the research. We sent it over to Echo Health Alliance, which is run by Peter Dusak. He is based in New York, and it's basically an international network of scientists. So what was really interesting in my research was that Echo Health Alliance basically contracted the Wuhan lab in China, where allegedly COVID-19 was escaped from that. Remember, Trump, number 45 was real, clear about the Chinese disease and where it came from. But like I said, what was really interesting was that link was the Echo Health Alliance, which got money from the NIH, which NIH to me is synonymous with Fauci. But they got money from our government to do this gain of function research in Wuhan, China. And in China, it was headed by this woman, Shi Zhengli. She's a virologist, but one of the things she's known for is she's known as the Batwoman because she has been able to do this gain of function research, which by taking bat diseases and transferring them, I'm going to say to humans, because that's still for debate. But if you remember, there was a lot of talk about, it coming from a bat. You remember that? They were talking about it coming from a bat. And, it's what's really interesting is in this Wuhan lab, which is funded by it's a non-governmental agency that gets governmental money from us. But they were basically in this lab cooking up viruses, cooking up flu, cooking up all kind of stuff. Okay.
Virologist.
So I'm just you know me because I can go into a rabbit hole, and I'm a conspiracy theorist. But I always want to back it up with facts. I always want to back it up with the research. So I went even deeper. If you remember back in November of probably well, this was right at the beginning of we're going to call it the pandemic. But if you remember, they were talking about there were three scientists scientists that had come down with these flu-like symptoms in Wuhan. And that's, Trump has talked about it before. We've heard about it. So that part is not a secret. What was interesting, what I found was that within a span of like 3 weeks, there was a sample from these alleged scientists who came down with these flu-like symptoms. There was a sample that was sent over to a lab in North Carolina, and within 3 weeks of getting that sample, Moderna and NIH had come up with the vaccine based on this alleged sample that got to them probably like 3 weeks or something before. So look, I'm just laying out the information, because what I found was that the lab in North Carolina, which allegedly got this sample from Wuhan, China, of the original or first outbreak of coronavirus, they signed this NDA, they received this sample, and then they somehow get their hands on a vaccine within a couple of weeks. So I'm just bringing up the circumstantial evidence here because I believe there is a link between the virus and the creation of it. I read, if you remember, Trump was ranting, and I'm not for this guy at all, but one thing was very certain from his mouth was that They were pretty much in there cooking up something. Now, whether it was released accidentally or on purpose,
That's what we
is
don't know.
pretty much anyone's guess.
But they
Um,
may.
Another interesting fact that I found was that there's a Stephanie Bancel. This is the guy who is right now, he's the CEO at Moderna. But he was formerly the CEO of BioMareau. BioMareau is a French company which basically built the Wuhan lab or the Wuhan Institute. Another interesting fact that everybody understands is that you can't sue the vaccine makers. Even if for any issues, even if there's death. So they have zero liability, full legal immunity. And me, as a lawyer, and I'm looking at this, I don't know anyone. There's such thing as legal immunity, but there are different ways in which it's triggered, and then there's time frames, and depending on what state. I mean, it's not an all across the board. This is the first time that I've seen where you're talking about full legal immunity where there's zero liability in the truest form, the truest that I've ever seen. So these companies are allowed to make these vaccines and not suffer any sort of liability if there's any issues for it. So
Right.
I'm just putting this out on the table. One thing I would like everyone to go and watch. There was a congressional hearing, I think it was in June of last year, where Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, he was going back and forth with Fauci, and there was a lot of direct and cross-examination on the benefits and whether there was gain of function research actually happening, even though there was a moratorium on it, even though it was supposed to be stopped. But it's really interesting to just hear because, I mean, Rand Paul just kind of lets out everything. And, he pretty much implied that, the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health here, has been funding gain of function research at the Wuhan lab and at a lab here in North Carolina. I mean, it's in Rand Paul's testimony. And he's speaking to Fauci, and Fauci is denying it and saying that it's not a real thing. So I just wanted to present this. This is a little bit of my research that
It's
I've been looking at.
still
But
happening.
I feel like it's important for people to know what's going on here. And there's another piece of this. I'll talk about it next week, but know what's going on.
It's a, you know what? You would think people like, I just can't wait for this thing to be over. I can't wait for this thing to be over. But it's like, no, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. And all you can really do is continue to do your research. But I start to feel like we are the research. That's the part I don't like. I feel like we are the research. Like we are the dummies. Like we are the ones who are, people are getting fired from their jobs because they're not being vaccinated. And, I believe to each his own. I should really, but guess what? No, that's not the case anymore. So it's a whole different type of there's a political term for it, which I can't really put into words right now, but for what's happening is like what kind of new world order craziness is all this about? Like, yeah, it's happening. This is happening. And yeah.
It's
So
happening in
thank you for
real
that.
time.
Thank you for that. And part two, next episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go a little deeper into this, into transhumanism, which you and I have talked about before, but I'm gonna bring it back
Okay.
because there's a loophole here
Okay.
that needs to be discussed. So we'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
But right
All right.
now, I just want to get into some Weekend D.
You got it going on. I used to be scared of the dick. Now I throw lips to the shit. Handle it like a real bitch. Have the hunter.
Okay. All right. All right. Go for it.
Oh man, I'm telling you, all of that. I want to be serious, and I want to state the facts, but sometimes we like, man, if we don't get to this D,
I don't want to talk about it.
literally and figuratively.
Yeah, that's how you feel when you be on a date. You be like, I like walking the dog too.
Mhm.
You know what it is. Yeah. Your mother does. Your mother goes to what church? Oh, no. Yeah.
Like,
Bobbleheading.
okay.
Yeah, you know what it is. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what's
So go
up.
for it. Okay.
Anyway, okay, all right. So here we have a question that was it was posed very short and simple, but I'm gonna say it to you. So, how much porn is acceptable in a relationship? I feel like he is watching it too much.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Shatara, what say you?
I feel like beauty is within the
Feel
eye.
like go, you know?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Nobody said I could sing, but I try. I feel like beauty is within the eye of the beholder. So, to how much porn is too much is depends on you. How many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop? You know, the owl once asked. That's when you dropping knowledge on people. The owl once asked, "How many licks does it take to
You
get to the
sure
center of the
did.
Tootsie Pop?" So, with that being said, I feel like it
You
really depends
sure
on you.
did.
Is there possible like addiction to porn? Sure, I do believe that some
Absolutely.
people can take it a little too far.
Mhm.
I know that when I was first like introduced to porn, I was so like wowed with it. Like I felt like I was like being able to watch people in different like I feel like I lived in a building and I was able to like peek my head in on like everybody. And I was just very like I'm not supposed to be looking at this. Like, oh, that's how y'all do it. Like, and it wasn't even about like I like all of it. It was just I was just interested to see like how it all goes down. Like,
Mhm.
and after a while, all that kind of like, oh, okay, like, and that's it. So if you're in a relationship and somebody is constantly watching it, and then not wanting it depends. Do they not want the real thing? Well, then yeah, it's a problem.
Mhm. Then what kind of porn? Because it's all you know what?
Yeah,
How you
people
know
have
what kind of
fetishes.
porn is out here? It's so much.
They were talking on the radio about some people who like the cartoon porn, like the emo, the
Oh
little
yeah, yeah,
characters.
yeah.
Like, there's so people have fetishes. There's so many different things, but I feel like it's really like a to each his own. Like if it's bothering you, well then yeah, then it's too much. There's your answer right there. If it's bothering you, then it's too much. To some extent,
Yeah, I tend to agree
that's
with
it.
you. So I
You
remember
know,
I was dating somebody, and this was like when remember like there was a time. Do you remember the time when you couldn't watch a video on your phone, and then when it happened, it was like it
oh,
changed everybody's life. And I remember there was not a minute that would go by like he would be watching it on his phone. Like, hey, what are you doing?
what are
He
you
could be
watching?
on a
Right?
phone call with somebody, and it's a whole video. It's a whole
Are you serious?
baloney meats all over the place. Like, are you serious? Just everywhere. Like it would to me
Wow.
like it was no. So to me like okay, that was too much. Like what's going on here? Like
Right.
it was because it was constant. It was just like every little minute with the phone because I mean I remember like videos was like a new thing. It's like oh you can watch porn on your phone, and it was just like too much. So it was a conversation. Like I think this is weird. Like it's weird we in the bed to me and you're on your phone watching porn
Right.
to like get you in
Yeah.
the mood. Like what is
What's happening? Because
help
sometimes it's like
help me to help you.
right, you're seeing what you want, and like so if I'm not what you want, and don't get me wrong, I believe in like fantasy. Like trust me, like you go ahead, do hey man, or what if that's what you like to see. Like I remember, man, listen, just looking at some real like wow, like that's what you're doing at 3 p.m. Like all right, like okay, well that's okay. Well, and a part of me is like whatever. Like to me, that's not really reality. So I'm like whatever. Like, and I know men are visually stimulated, so there's like a separate there's a separation going on there.
But
However,
I'm curious to know like what kind of porn.
what are you
Because I
watching?
mean you
What
got
do you have?
pregnant women porn, you got tiny people, little people porn. I mean, not saying anything, but it's just like, well, there's a
You
lot
got
of different avenues of this thing.
So
What
write back to
avenue
us
are
and
you
tell
on?
us. Tell us what kind it is. If you can get back to us, we're all ears. What kind is it?
Like, I mean, there's
There's so
trans
much.
porn is it's
There's
so much.
fetish.
It's so much.
There's
The fetish.
dominatrix.
Oh gosh, and then the oh gosh,
There's so much. I mean, like I said, there's so
some of it
many.
is like oh, some of that.
But look, but see, even when you
And,
say you look enough to say right?
oh,
You
just
look
like
just
that
enough to be
too.
like
Oh, that's too much. That's too much. Oh, that's too much. Oh, when it look like, oh gosh.
wow, she's serious. Woo, girl,
That's an
they don't pay
entrepreneur
you
for you.
enough. I don't know how much you get
Yeah,
paid, but I pay them. All right.
some of it is a bit too much. But like
Okay.
I think in a relate, there's is it healthy within a relationship? Yeah, sometimes, maybe to like create the mood and whatever. Maybe this is something that they could do together. But like I said, I'm a little like, okay, I'm a little like, what kind are you watching?
What kind are you
And
watching?
if she feels like it's too much, then it is too
Of
much. You're
course.
right. And she should have that conversation with him.
But if you want to write us back and tell us what kind it is, then we can talk about that too, and we'll key on that too. But if it's too much, then don't ask us how much is too much. Obviously, you don't like it.
There you go. Okay,
that's it.
All right.
If the man is watching porn as much as he watches sports, then there's a problem, because my man watches sports all the damn time, and that's okay with me. I don't mind. I pop in, it ain't nothing. But if I come home every time and you got the remote in your hand, literally, I'm like, yeah, we got a problem. Yeah. William Shatner's going up to space, people, and we got a problem.
Okay, I think we gave her some good advice.
Okay, good. Well, can we get to my jam?
Sure.
Okay, so Big Daddy Kane is going to be in the versus battle with one. So I am giving it to Big Daddy Kane, Smooth Operator.
Yes, which still rocks.
1989 is a Big Daddy Thing album. His real name is Antonio Hardy. All right, he just had a birthday. Big Daddy Kane, and he was also known. Yeah, he was from the Juice Crew, as you know, and he's one of the most influential MCs. So he's like beyond rapper, he's an MC, and I think some people forget like the difference. So when you listen to certain groups today, I feel like they don't really hold a candle to like MCs from that era. And I know when I look at the year, I'm like, oh my God, you know how old I was? Dude, I was 9 years old when this song came out, but guess what? I know the words. So the funny thing is, this was rocking. So, and this right here, Smooth Operator, I wanted to be in videos, and the video hoes at that time, I'm gonna call them video hoes, they had on like the prom dresses, and they had the necks, and my grandma always told me I had a long neck, and that's all they did. And I was like, oh, I can be in videos. I was like, this is
the man of the
dream.
album.
And the way, but he was so smooth. He was in a suit, and they say,
he was wearing like 3-piece suits.
Listen, Chris Rock was in the video for a few seconds getting a haircut. Y'all didn't know that. It was so quick. He was so quick. And, he representing Brooklyn. And as you know, if you listen to Jay-Z, you could see where, like he was influenced a lot.
Literally every rapper that came after, you see the Big Daddy Kane influence. Come on.
You can hear it.
Everybody. I see it at 50 Cent.
Yeah.
A lot of the rappers, they need to pay homage, because he definitely paved the way. Smooth, he was so smooth with it.
And he danced. And he wore a suit. And Smooth Operator was slick. And let me tell you something. He spelled his name, and to this day, I be like the B-I-D-D-Y-K-A-N-D. That's plenty. So I have to like stop and think. I'm like, wait a minute. Like the B-I-G-D-A-D-D-Y-K-A-N-D. The way see, Big Papa made it easy for us. B-I-G. Get it? Biggie. Like it was very easy. See, you know what I mean? Big Daddy Kane, you had to rewind that. Like, now I'm gonna get this together, because the way he spelt it, he had you like boom, boom, boom.
They was doing that
sincerely yours, the Smooth Operator. Because I'm so smooth. Okay, so that's it.
I love it. Yes, Big Daddy Kane is definitely, and you can still when I get in the car tonight, I'm gonna listen to that. Because I'm so smooth.
Got it.
He is. Pay homage, because he's definitely he was an innovator. He really I don't want to say was, because he is for the masses. Like he did a lot. So
absolutely.
Okay, that was a good one. I love it.
Yay! All right.
Well, guess where we are?
Oh, when
you cry like the baby.
No, not like the baby. No, I don't do nothing like the baby.
All right, y'all. We have come to the end. So please like, share, and subscribe to That's What I'm Saying. Listen to us on iTunes and Google Play and SoundCloud and iHeartRadio and Spreaker, Stitcher, CastPod, TuneIn, and Spotify, and Pandora too. You just tell your Pandora and they'll find us.
Hello.
Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can listen to us. Also, watch That's What I'm Saying, the TV show on Island TV. We're coming back with new episodes very, very soon.
Yes.
And Shatara, what else we got to let them know?
Yes. If you have a question for the Weekend D Report, if you want to keep up to date on all my upcoming comedy shows, as well as our podcast and TV events, yes, it is on and popping. Please get social with us, get in our DM, talk to us. We want to talk to you. You can follow us on Instagram at TwistPod, TWISPOD. And you can go to our website at www.twistpod.com. Send us an email at that's what I'm saying podcast@gmail.com. See, I gave y'all every angle. You have no excuse. No excuse. So as always, thank you for listening. Until next time, it has been a pleasure seeing y'all. And we love you. Thank you.
Peace, y'all.
Peace. Stay healthy.